Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of Askgufish. Let's just jump straight into your questions. No, us European patrons need love too. Alright, it doesn't sound like much, and technically it's not really a question either, but there's a couple things to unpack here. Firstly, the reason Y2 Current brings up the European patrons is because last Askgufish, I announced that I'd be starting to offer patrons a shot at winning guitars of their choosing, but because of the CITES regulations around Rosewood, that it would be limited, at least initially, to US residents only. Sending guitars with Rosewood internationally is complicated. At least right now. So if you've been living under a rosewood-free rock, basically all species of rosewood are listed under CITES Appendix 2, which is a list of species, quote, not necessarily threatened with extinction, but in which trade must be controlled in order to avoid utilization incompatible with their survival. Long story short, what this means for us is that it's time-consuming, expensive, and basically just a royal pain in the butt to send anything with rosewood across international borders. But it's just been reported that CITES is considering exempting finished musical instruments from those requirements, which is huge. The regulations around rosewood has been a big deal for the guitar industry. Most of the big players have been moving away from rosewood towards more sustainable alternatives. So for consumers like you and me, that means that if you're buying or selling, especially used guitars internationally that have rosewood fingerboards, it's gonna make that whole process much less of a headache. I have kind of mixed feelings about this though. On one hand, yeah, a healthy used market constantly forces manufacturers to up their game for new models. On the other hand, I kind of liked how it forced the guitar industry, even if they're not one of the big industrial consumers of rosewood, to step up and take responsibility regarding sustainable materials. There's also the fact that I'm not a huge rosewood person. I much prefer maple and ebony, and without rosewood, brands were using those two more. That was kind of a nice little bonus for me. But yeah, they're voting on this in May, so we'll have to wait and see what happens, whether CITES passes this new exemption or not. So what are your thoughts on this? Are you excited for a potential rosewood fingerboard comeback? Will you be sad to see things like Maxar Ebony or Palfaro be used less? Or do you even think the industry will go back to rosewood? With all the changes and investments made already into rosewood alternatives, it might be a very real possibility we'll stick to that more sustainable route. But yeah, what do you think? Poll in the top right. So that's the CITES thing. Let's talk about the Patreon thing. Basically, what I'm trying to do is have the patrons be able to select a guitar, any model, any brand, anything you want. I'll buy it, demo it, and then after the video, there will be a free competition for patrons to take that guitar home. Now, when I first floated that idea, I thought it was great, and about 3,000 people responded in the poll saying they'd definitely be interested in participating. Now, I wasn't expecting 3,000 people to actually participate, though that would have been really cool. We could have gotten some sick guitars on here. But I thought maybe 10% was reasonable, set the goal at 300 patrons, make it feasible for me to do. Long story short, we're not close to that. Like, not even remotely close for whatever reason. But viewer chosen guitars that one of you gets to keep, that's still something I'm determined to make happen. So to make it feasible, I'm changing the goal. Instead of every month, I'm making it so that if we hit 100, you guys can choose a guitar every quarter that I'll demo and give away as a grand prize. And again, the competitions aren't like riff competitions or video competitions or anything that requires a lot of effort. There'll be stuff like caption contests, meme contests, stuff like that. Eventually, it will be every month. This is just a way for me to afford getting it launched. I'm sorry, especially to existing patrons or to people that have absolutely no intention of joining Patreon for whatever reason. If it seems like I'm pushing this hard, I am. It's probably the only way that I'll be able to demo certain guitars, and I really want to make this happen for you guys. You know, for me, the point of doing these videos and everything, it's not to help companies sell more guitars or pedals or whatever. I do this, well, because it's fun, but also to share my honest assessments of gear that you're asking about. And unfortunately, it's hard to get companies on board with that. So yeah, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, for about a Starbucks coffee a month, you can support me. Actually, f it. Even if you don't give a shit about supporting me, for about a Starbucks coffee a month, you'll have a shot of winning a guitar of your choosing. Really want to make this happen, but I do need your help. I've tried to make this as much of a win-win as possible, so there you go. Link in the description, check it out. We're so close. Did you see the new 2019 Schecters? You know what? I did, and it's official. Burl is in. By far the most interesting new models, in my opinion, are the new Reaper series. These have swamp ash bodies, set 5-piece maple walnut necks with carbon fiber reinforcement rods, ebony fingerboards, and Graphtec nuts. The 24 frets are extra jumbo, the neck profile is an ultra thin C. These are metal guitars. The pickups are Schecter Diamond Decimators. No idea. I assume they're designed to be tight and high output. They've announced 4 models in the series: the $699 Reaper 6, the $899 Reaper 6 FR with a Floyd, the $1069 Reaper FRS with a Floyd and a Sustainiac, and the $949 Reaper 7 multiscale. There are also left-handed versions of all the Reaper models, however they cost $50 more, and while the right-handed counterparts come in your choice of Sky Burst, Charcoal Burst, and Inferno Burst, The lefties only get charcoal burst. All things considered, relatively not bad as far as left-handed options go. They kind of remind me of Ibanez's. Ibanez? They've got the reverse pointy headstocks, the burl tops, ultra-thin necks, and the arm cut that exposes the raw bodywood. I think I'm gonna like these better though, purely because of the fingerboard radius. I like round fingerboards. Usually Ibanez guitars have super flat 16-inch radius fingerboards, and the Schecters have compromised in the middle with 14-inch radii. You know, I'll talk about Schecters in these ASKgufish videos, but I rarely get really excited about any. The Reaper series is the exception. Definitely looking forward to getting my hands on one of these. In the pointy guitar department, Chris Howorth and Randy Weitzel, sorry if I butchered those names, of In This Moment, both got their own 7-string EMG equipped signatures. And there's also now a V addition to the incredibly popular Apocalypse series. Not really into V-style guitars, but that one's cool. Nick Johnston got a signature Strat thing, which for some reason no one is losing their shit over, like PRS's Silver Sky. Then there's the new Evil Twin series. From the front, they look fairly standard classic Schecter shape, satin black finish. The big selling points on these is that they've got 7-piece maple walnut Padauk necks running all the way through the body and come standard with Fishman-Fluence modern pickups. There are 6 and 7 dual humbucker versions with hipshot hardtails, as well as a 6-string one with a Floyd and Sustainiac combo. Guys, Fishman pickups are awesome. Like what, last year, 2016, they only came in a few select models, like Willie Adler's WA600. Now they're in a bunch of mainstream guitars, so even if you're not digging the tones I get in my videos, like there was kind of a mixed response to the Killswitch Engage video, I get it, not everyone likes my tone, that's fine, I'm not offended, but you seriously have to try these things at a Guitar Center or a Sam Ash. The clarity is unreal. So that's a brief look at Schecter's new models. I'm most excited about the Reaper series. What about you? You like the Reaper series, the new Vs, the Evil Twins? Let me know in the poll. We need a review on that Dunkin Donuts coffee though. Pretty not great, but it does get me through editing sessions and it's within my budget. Any coffee sponsors out there? Hit me up, please. What are your opinions on Architects, particularly the new stuff they've been releasing? Also, are you gonna get a pet fish and name it Agu at some point? Yeah man, I feel like I was late to the Architects party. I only started listening to them a few months ago and I think Doomsday might be my favorite heavy song of the year. The other 2 singles they've dropped off the new album, I think they're called Hereafter and Royal Beggars, just unbelievable. If you're into heavy music, like, at all, check out Doomsday. Incredible, incredible track. And no, fish aren't real pets. I do have this plush thing though that's named Agu. For anyone that doesn't know, when I first started the channel, I was looking around for anything to name it that didn't involve my real name, and this handmade plush Mola Mola was the first thing that I saw. So yeah, the channel's named after this derpy yellow stuffed fish. It's been suggested that I replicate it and sell it as merch, but I don't know, it's kinda nice that I have the only one. Thoughts on John Lee Hooker's Zephyr? Yes, so Epiphone finally pulled the curtain back on the limited edition John Lee Hooker Zephyr to celebrate what would have been his 100th birthday. That being said, his actual birthday is somewhat up for debate, but that's neither here nor there. Full disclosure, I didn't really know who John Lee Hooker was until I googled him, and this being a metal channel, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with his work, but as you could kind of tell from this new guitar, he was a very influential blues and boogie player. His instrument of choice for about a decade was a 1961 Epiphone Zephyr, and it was a really rare guitar, only 13 of them were made that year. So this 2018 model is a reissue of that instrument. It has a laminated maple top, a laminated maple body, a mahogany neck with a maple center stripe, a 20-fret Palfaro fingerboard, Wilkinson tuners, and 2 Epiphone Mini Probucker pickups. It even has the vintage-style Epiphone headstock and metal logo. I've been trying to get a Zach Myers PRS SE on here, which has been harder than I thought it would be, but as of right now, I haven't had a semi-hollow on the channel yet. I also haven't tried Epiphone Mini humbuckers, though my experience in general with the Probuckers hasn't been great. So as a quick aside, kinda hoping for a redevelopment of Epiphone's pickup line, but anyways, back to this guitar. Now, I'm no blues player, and I don't know about you, but I can't be the only one who would love to hear what this sounds like through a PV6505. Would that be awesome or sacrilege? I mean, I'm probably gonna do it anyways and get a ton of hate comments from all the blues players, but just for funsies, yay, nay, poll in the top right. And that'll do it for this week's episode of ASKgufish. Do me a favor, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Let me know your thoughts on anything discussed in the comments, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. If you want YouTube to notify you every time I upload a new video, hit the little bell. Again, please check out the Patreon page. Really want to make the videos of the guitars you want to see, and then let one of you take it home, but I do need your help to make it happen. All the links are below, including social media and our Discord server, which you should definitely join. As always, thanks so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I'll see you for the next video.